What's going on, Ravens? Today I'm going to show you how to make a solar eclipse fitting for the day. It's going to look a little bit like this. In your Photopea document, you're going to have a moon, a sun, some stars, and you're going to have this guide that I'm putting up right there. Let's get right to this. I'm going to turn off the moon, put on the sun. Double click the sun layer, and you're going to get this menu. Select your outer glow. Make sure the box is checked and it is dark gray. This outer glow, we need to change the color to match. It's going to start off with like a yellow color for you. We need it to be this orange color. I want you to type in a specific code right here. It's FD9B00. If you type in FD9B00 and press enter, you'll get that exact orange that I have there. Now you need to make your opacity at about 50%. You need to make your spread 58% or 7 or so. Your size about 190, and your range will be 100. Click OK. We're going to now duplicate that sun layer. I'm going to double click it and rename it Sun White because we're going to make a white layer to go with the orange layer. It got a lot darker and it has the same glow. We're going to click on the outer glow of here and I'm going to click the color and make it white. But I also need to adjust the opacity, spread size, and range. For the white, we're going to make the opacity about 75. For the spread, we're going to take it all the way down to about 15%. For the size, we're going to take it down to 66 pixels or so, 60 so. That'll work. And the range at about half, 50%. That'll work. There we go. So now we have a white portion and an orange glow portion that kind of helps out the sun spread. I need to make one more component of the sun. So using the orange sun part, I'm going to duplicate that layer. I'm going to put it on the very bottom above the stars. I'm going to turn off the rest, make sure it is the white layer. Now I want to delete this yellow or this white part. So I'm going to take my magic wand, select it with the white, and I'm just going to press the delete key. Oh, that takes rid of all of it. I forgot I have to do something real quick. Back up. So before we delete that, I need you to right click this and rasterize it. And then you can delete the white part. There we go. We'll be good to go. All right. So I'm going to go ahead, select and deselect. Now I've got just this thing. What we're going to do here is make it look like sun's rays. We're going to use a new tool called the Liquify tool. It's under Filter, Liquify. And you should get this by default. The size should be about 100, and you should have this selected right here. And we're going to make rays just like you did like in elementary school when you drew a sun. We're just going to pull this. I'm clicking and pulling this color out towards the rest of the border. So I'm going to do this throughout the entire circle. I made it strongest over here, and it's going to be weakest on this side. But it's kind of okay for you to do it however you'd like. Finish this up. You can be as aggressive or as conservative as you'd like on this. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And there I go. I've got this going on. Now, this is way too unrealistic looking. Like you put the moon in front of it, that looks like it's on fire or something. That is not right. First, I also want to change the color. So we're going to click on the sun copy. I'm going to actually name that Corona because that's means crown, and that's what we're drawing right there, the crown of the sun. And then I'm going to go to Edit. No, I'm sorry, Image, Adjustments, Hue and Saturation. On the hue, I'm going to drop it down about 20 points, 15 to 20 points, negative 17. Makes it red. Turn on the rest of the layers of the sun, and you can see you have that like kind of wild looking thing. This Corona is way too strong. We're going to drop it down all the way to about 20 to 25% so that it's just a real subtle effect that you get when the moon is in front of it. Now, speaking of the moon, this is a solar eclipse. The only reason this moon would be visible like this would be because the sun was lighting it up, but the sun is on the other side of it. So the moon is a new moon. It's completely dark at this point in time. So let's make it look like that. Let's go to the moon layer and go to Edit. I'm sorry, I keep doing it. Images, Adjustments, brightness and contrast, and make that moon dark. I don't think it's dark enough. Let's do it one more time. Image, adjustments, brightness and contrast, knock it all the way down a second time. There we go. That's pretty much what the moon's going to look like when it's the dark side of the moon on a new moon time. All right. So, going back to the sun layer, I need to make a layer mask here. I'm going to go ahead and right click it and rasterize the layer style on the sun layer. And I'm also going to rasterize the layer style on the white layer. Make sure that EFF is gone and you should be good. I'm going to add a layer mask and I'm going to get out my gradient tool. I need to select white and black on my gradient tool. And something that we haven't done before, I want you to set your opacity to 50%. It'll be at 100, bring it down to 50%. I'm going to turn on my guideline. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a mask from just outside the moon to about the middle of the moon. And I'm going to do it about 4 or 5 times. And what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to make the intensity of the mask less on this side of the sun because the moon is covering more of it. So that works. Let's do it again for the sun white. Or add a layer mask and make that white kind of be a little less intense. This should take less times. I'll probably do it 3 times. There we go. Looking good. The corona, I think you're fine with leaving it like it is. All right, so now, last thing we need to do is have that last bit of light that's peeking up right here. To do this, I actually turn off all the other layers. And I'm going to get out a brush. I'm going to make it about 450 pixels. And I'm going to select that same orange color. It's probably right here. It's FD9B00. Click OK. 450 pixels. I'm going to put it about on the red line somewhere, and I'm just going, oops, I got to make a new layer. I'm going to name this flare. And on that flare layer, I'm just going to go boom and put a orange dot. I'm going to switch my color to white. Click OK. And I'm going to shrink my brush down to about 250 pixels. Put it in the center. And there you go. We got a white to orange flare there. I want to distort this. So I'm actually going to hold down Shift with the Move tool and flatten it out a bit and stretch it down. I'm also going to rotate it so that it is perpendicular to this red line, parallel up here approximately. There we go. Let's turn everything back on. I'm now going to move that flare to the red line just outside of the sun right there. Maybe a little bit down further. If you don't feel, I feel like it's a little small. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. And I'm going to put it right there. The center of it should be like it's almost like exploding on this side of the moon and the sun because that part hasn't quite yet been covered. So there's just a last bit of sun